there, it's Deb, and I'm back with another fixing and flipping tip for you. And today I want to talk to you about the burn house that I just did. I did my very first house that was caught in fire. And in the past I would have stayed away from this like the plague, but the seller was insistent on me buying this property and doing the renovation on it. And she asked me not once, not twice, but 3 times. And then I finally said, okay, I'll take it on because the price was right. She started out wanting $40,000 for the property, and I was able to purchase this 2-family brick for $20,000. And what I discovered with houses that are in a fire is that the sellers have already, most of them have gotten a settlement from the insurance company. So the liability for them is they don't want to own a property that has been compromised, so they're very happy to let it go for little money just to get it off their plate, which I didn't realize that, but then I did from doing this project. So what I know about fire, what I knew about firehouses, what was the biggest thing you have to overcome is the odor. And then how do you get rid of all that soot? You know, I thought soot would just wipe off. You know, it just looks like it would wipe off, and you'll be able to tell from the pictures here why I thought that. But when you start working with walls that have been affected by heat from a fire, what happens is the paint starts melting from the heat just a little bit, depending upon, you know, how extensive the fire is. The soot goes billowing through the house, and then it sticks to this tacky surface, and now it's like this gummy, sticky stuff on the walls that you can't paint over because there's a funky looking texture to it. So I called around and I got some quotes, and the average quote for somebody to come in and amend the second floor, because this was a 2-family, and also do a few walls on the first floor, was $12,000. And I thought, $12,000, like how difficult can it be? Well, it was a little bit of a challenge to figure it out. So I looked at the equipment that they use. They don't share a lot of information on the solution because that's the way they make money, which they should. And I went out and I bought a lot of different things that I've used to clean properties up in the past that have had different types of odors, like pet odors, and that sort of thing, mold. I did several different tests, and what worked was that Crud Cutter on the first go around, and then Simply Green took the odor out, but it had to be done in I would say a finicky way. So let me tell you about how I did it. I got one person, I was able to rally up the troops and put one person in each room. I got a bucket for each person. I got microfiber cloths, the ones that you can wring out, had a lot of water running, big sponges, and then step ladders for the areas that they'd have to get on a step ladder to reach. And then I got everybody like basically on your mark, get set, go. And what we discovered is that when you do a light spraying of the Crud Cutter, if you leave Crud Cutter on too long, it will take the paint off. And that's not what you want, because then some of the paint comes off, some of the paint doesn't. Then you have to skim coat the walls or re-drywall everything, and that's what I was trying to avoid. So a light spraying of the Crud Cutter, leave it on just for a few seconds, wipe it down with a micro fiber, wring that out, light spray it again, wipe that off, keep wiping, spray, move. And then we had one runner, which was me, because you know me, I'm so hands-on and I can't help myself, and I wanted to see the results of it. So I was the water bucket runner. You know, I was picking up people's buckets, making sure they had clean water, because the water was getting black so quickly because there was so much soot. And if you're like wringing out in dirty water, you're putting some of that soot back on the wall. So I wanted to make sure that that was clean, and it worked really well. So what I can tell you is inside of 3 hours, 5 really strong men were able to take care of the whole second floor. Now, you figure it out, $15 an hour, 3 hours, 5 guys, right? Not $12,000. You know, I probably had a couple $100 in materials, which wasn't much. But that wasn't the end of the story. So the next step was I went on a quest to figure out what was the paint solution that we could spray over this that would then trap that, what was left, the odor, trap that odor also to spray the first floor because we removed a lot of the walls there because that's where the major damage was. And the odor had gotten in behind the wall and had damaged some of the walls as well. Not damaged them, but it had soaked them with that odor, charred it almost a little bit. The basement as well, like it was, the odor went through the whole house. So what I discovered was the shellac oil-based primer by Bins is what works. That's the shellac. Don't use just the oil-based, and don't use Zinsser or some other one. This is the one that worked, and we got a couple of 5-gallon pails. Joel, who you'll see in a minute here, he suited up for the day of spraying this house, and I believe it took him about 4 or 5 hours to go from the top all the way to the bottom. We actually sprayed every single square inch, every single cavity, every single ceiling, and in the basement as well. We sprayed all the ductwork in the basement, all the wire, everything that we could see that had any kind of smoke left on it or any kind of staining from smoke, we sprayed. And the results were it eliminated the odor, and on the second floor it created that coat. Then we can just go over it with regular latex paint. So I hope this video is helpful for you, because now I bought my second house, just about to close on it, that also was in a fire, and I'm seeing it with different eyes now because my crew and myself aren't so afraid of, all of what has to be done when you take on a fire job. So it's Deb Cleveland with a fixing and flipping tip for you. Thanks so much for following me. I hope you're well, and bye for now.